it just makes me think, you know what? If I can find my Toadette or my Toad Girl, I'm set, man. But then
Well,
again,
relationships are hard to come by, and relationships are also pretty hard to stay happy with. But when the time comes, it's definitely there's plenty of fish in the sea. Let's put it that way. Don't give up on that.
well, I mean, I could just tell you that, yeah, you're right about that. But I was just gonna say, yeah, it's happened before, but it's kind of like a different chapter in my life, so I just have to move on from it. But the only thing I can say is, I do forward to the day, and it doesn't even have to be games. It could just be me and her. You know, like I just want a Toad debt in my life.
I gotcha. There's a lot of people that do want to be in a relationship. Sometimes though, relationships suck. I can tell you from a handful of experiences that you know I just can't be fucked to go in a relationship anymore just because no matter what I do, I get screwed over because either a someone can't make up their mind or there's a lot of disagreements.
Oh, you know what? Ain't that the truth? I mean, I've had it like what a few times, and I don't know what's tough. Uh, Ending a relationship when there was never really a relationship at all, or the fact that it evolved from a friendship to, you know, like it's kind of hard to explain because it's like you're friends with them to begin with, right? And then you tell them your feelings, and then all of a sudden they kind of become a bit too hostile towards you, and you don't know why. Although it's not until you talk to them and it's like, I kind of felt uncomfortable because you said this. I'm like, well, okay, if you felt uncomfortable, how come you didn't tell me to begin with? That's what frustrates me sometimes.
You know, it's like sometimes I always go by the fact that like don't say I love you if you don't actually mean it. Because for the most part, when you're in a relationship, the first thing should never be I love you. It shouldn't be. What you should do is build a bond from there, and then have like because it's like the intimacy in a relationship. It's mostly of affection. When you want to tell someone I love you, you know you really should mean it. And like most of the time it's very thoughtless and a lot of people just say it for the sake of saying it because they feel like they know that um if they do say it that it helps their relationship when which in this case it doesn't. So um, that's something that a lot of people don't seem to realize. But I mean that's just kind of my thought process of it. I just feel like if you the relationship should be tame. Get to know each other from there, and then say to the girl that you love you. You can't just tell them right away. You know,
No, no,
that's
that's
that's messed up. That's like teenager shit.
yeah.
So
But and then let's see other stuff we can talk about. Oh, okay. We were talking about toxic relationships, and then we were talking about
we're
intimacy,
talking.
I guess you could say.
What
Um,
isn't toxic in this conversation?
I don't know. You tell me, man. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I just thought of something. Do you have any questions for me?
Um, I think this has been asked before. What kind of music are you into?
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're going into this.
Oh man, you know what? I'm not like most people. Like, all right. Before I tell you, what do you think I'm into?
I think you're into older rock and roll.
In a sense, that is true.
Okay, you just seem like the type of guy that would listen to like AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen. There's plenty, like Guns N' Roses. There's a lot of stuff you can like go back on. But yeah, I'm assuming that's what you would be into, like stuff like alternate rock and alternative rock or just older rock.
Yeah, I really enjoy like I do like Led Zeppelin. Maybe not as much, but I really do like some of the songs. But I think the one song that I enjoy the most, hint, it's not Stairway to Heaven. I mean, everyone loves that song, but
Everybody loves that song.
it's Achilles' Last Stand.
That's a really good song.
I mean, what I really like about it is just it's like it starts slow a little bit, but then it just picks up and it never stops.
Yeah, I got you. I guess you're probably gonna ask the same question to me. Trying to think how do I tell you this? I'm more of a metalhead. Let's just put it that way. I'm into stuff like Megadeth. I guess you want to say like Five Finger Death Punch. Alice in Chains.
9 Inch Nails.
That's not a metal band.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the thing. I'm not into that sort of thing, so I wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I do like the modern day melodic death metal stuff, like a lot of the European metal music. Stuff like Scar Symmetry. Um, let's see, Sonic Syndicate. Let's see, Bring Me the Horizon. I like that. I also like just the modern metalcore stuff, like Devil Wears Prada, Asking Alexandria. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I really enjoy listening to in terms of metal and stuff. But I do listen to stuff like Beatles, the Beatles, not Beatles, because that's stupid and you should be ashamed of yourself if you refer to them as Beatles. But yeah, the Beatles. I do listen to them a lot. I do like that. I do like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and Tom Petty himself. He also has his own soul performance stuff. Yeah, I'm just an all around guy. Like sometimes I'll listen to even like dubstep and maybe some rap, but other than that, I'm more of just a metal guy. I just like to stay in my comfort zone, you know.
I get you, man. But you know what? Believe it or not, when I was a very very little toad, that's kind of like my little
When you were a little tadpole.
Well, no, that's LP Grotus.
But when you say toad, I'm thinking of an actual frog, you know.
Yeah, but
See,
I'm
Nintendo is not very good at naming their characters. So, like, who in? I'm just. I don't mean to go on a rant about this, but who in the fuck thought in their heads, let's name a mushroom dude Toad for no reason at all. Let's just name this dude that has a mushroom head Toad.
I think I know why they called him that. Believe it or not. You want to know
Yeah,
why? You know
what's
what?
that?
I think it's because, well, we have Princess Toadstool, so I'm thinking, mushrooms are what, the mushroom-headed people are. So I thought, well, it's only natural that they would be called toads. So I thought, why not?
That's true. I just feel like it's a really weird name to give. Um, those people, I guess you want to put it that way.
Yeah. But then again, who
But
came up
yeah,
with the name Moogle?
yeah. Well, see, in a way, that is something you can't really question because nobody knows why the fuck they're called Moogles. Let's be
I
honest.
mean, really, what the hell are they anyway? I mean, it's like, I could not understand it, but you know what? I guess sometimes it's better left unquestioned, or
Yeah.
that it's I don't know. It is what it is. But when I was a very little toad, I think I was like what, maybe 4, 5, 6 years old, maybe.
Mhm.
Um, when I listened to the radio, I used to listen to, surprisingly enough, rhythm and blues.
Hmm.
Like, for example, like Stevie Wonder and yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of Stevie Wonder, have you?
No, I know who Stevie Wonder is.
But you never thought I would listen to Stevie Wonder, or
I
did?
just I just saw you more as like an alternative, like '90s rock and roll dude.
I do like what's his Green Day. I do like Green Day, and I do like Nirvana, but maybe just like their more
I
mainstream
do,
hits.
yeah, I do like Nirvana as well. Not just because of their popular songs, but they actually do have some really good songs themselves. Um, Green Day, I used to like, but I started growing out of it the more I grew older, and I felt like I enjoyed listening to more upbeat music. Um, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but yeah, I really grew out of listening to Green Day. Although I did really enjoy a lot of Green Day's older stuff, even their American Idiot things.
I really do like American Idiot. In fact, that it was because of American Idiot through my sister that I enjoyed like the rock music I listen to now. Because when I was growing up, like I said, I grew up listening to uh, uh, rhythm and blues, and the reason why is because it's so catchy, and it just makes you want to dance, and I wanted to dance. I like dancing sometimes. It's like when you're, especially when you're by yourself, and as far as I mean, there's Stevie Wonder, there's the Temptations, there's James Brown, um, and I think the most recent would have to be Luther Vandross, although Luther is not with us sadly.
yeah.
But I like listening to rhythm and blues because I just think it's very underappreciated uh, as it is right now.
Yeah, I gotcha. Um, I don't know what else I could really say at this point. Um, if I were to say something that I really, really enjoyed, it'd be stuff like Michael Jackson, which, I mean, it's a shame that he's gone too, because his music was pretty freaking awesome. He wasn't referred to as the king of pop for nothing.
No, in fact, I really enjoyed Michael Jackson, and but you know what? I don't think anybody enjoyed him nearly as much as my sister did. I mean, come on, who in their right mind does not who didn't enjoy Michael Jackson at one point or another in their lives, and it's going to be sad in a couple more years that less and less people are not going to know about him.
Well, in the generation nowadays, nobody even knows who the Beatles are. So, I mean, doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, I guess you could say we're the last of a dying breed, I suppose. But but what can I say? The only
Yeah.
thing I can say is oh yeah, but I do enjoy listening to Michael Jackson, but I also like enjoying. In fact, if you ask me like the oldest year in terms of rock music or rock pop, R&B, I'd have to go all the way back to as far back as 1955. Like I really like listening to music even older than that.
That's going way back. I mean, I'm really appreciative of like games, and I'm going to go back to video games here.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. Well, this kind of ties in with music as well. BioShock, which is one of my favorite games. I wouldn't say ever. I do love the BioShock games. Um, BioShock One had the the phones there. The what the fuck are they called?
The payphone?
No, not like not. It's like a record player.
Oh, a phonographic.
Phonographic, yes. Ah, God, I can never fucking remember what those things were damn freaking called, but I feel like an idiot now for not knowing that. But yeah, those things are like those I play like really old music, and I loved listening to that. I would actually turn up my TV whenever a song would play from those things, and actually listen to the songs from the game. And I actually downloaded the soundtrack for it with all the songs on it, and I actually listen to those like not all the time, but once in a blue moon. And they're just overall great stuff. It's in Fallout, Fallout New Vegas actually. That had a lot of older music too in fact, one of the DLC is actually a reference to one of the songs, which is called Old World Blues. So
That sounds
yeah,
cool, man.
yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I like because it's a nice little throwback to stuff like in the 50s, 60s, I guess you want to put it.
Yeah, you know what? I think it was. I don't want to set the world on fire. That one was my favorite.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was from the Ink Spots, and I just thought, wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of things you could really like listen to and just be in awe, you know. Um, it just whatever song would appeal to your interest. That's kind of like it's if it's something you can tap your feet to or something that's catchy, like a lot of people say, then that's when you know you'll enjoy the song.
Exactly, and you know what? Speaking of music, um, you know what's really sad
What's that?
is that music is. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of stuff that you listen to like for today's music, but
Hmm.
for the most, on the whole, it's just not what it used to be. In fact, I was talking to uh, my aunt's friend who grew up listening. Like he grew up like throughout the 60s. Well, actually, he was born in the late 60s, but he grew up through the 70s and the 80s. And he says that back in those days, music was incredible.
Yep,
The fact that you
I
know
agree.
the fact that people look forward to the next hit rather than just simply listening to the old stuff, which they did, but they look forward to the new stuff. And nowadays, it's like I don't get that anymore, and neither does he. But what I meant by what's really sad about it is that you know how YouTube has its own audio library.
Hmm.
You do okay. Well, even that stuff is better than we would get these days.
Anything is better than the new music we have nowadays. Like, have you tried listening to Nicki Minaj's Anaconda? That is the worst fucking song I've ever heard in my life. You know, it sounds like a fucking ripoff of the song "I Like Big Butts" by fuck, can't remember his goddamn fucking name. Not that I really care all that much, but it's the part of the song is pretty much a direct like rip off. I get or riff of that song.
Mm,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. There's not enough originality. In fact, I talked about it with
yeah.
a guy who I guess you can. I guess the best way I can call him is the guy who calls himself a prince.
Oh yeah. There's actually there's actually a bit of controversy with plagiarism in the music industry, which is not a recent thing. It was kind of like a long time ago, but a singer named Otep who has a band, really good band because I'm into metal, and a band called Blood on the Dance Floor, which is a very controversial band. Not many people I know like them because they're pieces of shit, but I'll go into that at a later point. I don't know when. But basically, people are tweeting at her saying, you know, these guys are ripping off your lyrics, yada, yada, yada. And she pretty much tore the lead singer of Blood on the Dance Floor a new asshole because of it. And
Wow.
it was really funny because Otep was like, being in the music industry, it shames me that I have to walk the same, uh, walk on the same planet as you.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, yeah. She pretty much said that, and it was really funny to look at those tweets back and forth, and both fans of like the respective bands were like defending them to no end. It's like, how could you defend Blood on the Dance Floor for being immature and calling OTEP a bitch while OTEP is like just sitting there being genuine and not like insulting or bring like throwing out ad hominems all over the damn place. These guys are like straw manning and just like trying so hard to defend themselves when they can't because they don't like indirectly plagiarize her lyrics. It's just it makes no sense to me. But yeah, that controversy, I thought that was pretty funny.